The story begins not on a battlefield, but inside a crowded tavern buzzing with conversation. Travelers, adventurers, and mercenaries fill the room, each boasting about their latest conquests or lamenting failed dungeon expeditions. Amid the noise, one voice rises above the rest. An old adventurer leans against the bar, speaking to the bartender with absolute conviction as a small crowd slowly gathers around him. "You've heard the stories, haven't you?" he asks. "About the blacksmith?" The bartender chuckles, assuming it's just another exaggerated tale, but the old man shakes his head. "I'm not talking about an ordinary craftsman. I'm talking about him, the only blacksmith in the world capable of forging legendary grade equipment." The atmosphere subtly changes as more people begin listening. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how famous you are, or how powerful your guild is. If you're looking for a legendary weapon, armor, or artifact, there's only one man who can make it. Another patron scoffs. "So where is he?" The old adventurer simply smiles. "That's the funny thing. No one knows. Some claim he's a hermit living atop a mountain. Others swear he's hidden deep within the world's most dangerous dungeons. A few even believe he died decades ago, leaving behind only his creations. Yet despite the endless rumors, one fact remains unchanged. Whenever a new legendary great item appears somewhere in the world, whispers always lead back to the same mysterious blacksmith. To most people, he isn't even a real person anymore. He's a legend, a myth, someone whose existence is questioned just as often as it's believed. Far beneath the surface, inside one of the world's sprawling dungeons, that very legend quietly swings a pickaxe. The fourth floor is unlike the upper levels. Rivers of molten rock snake across the cavern, filling the air with unbearable heat. Jagged black stone towers stretch toward the ceiling while crimson crystals pulse faintly within the walls, giving the entire chamber an ominous glow. Gathered within the boss arena is an elite raid force assembled to defeat one of the floor's most infamous guardians, Helgao, the owner of Hellfire. Towering over everyone in the chamber, the monstrous beast radiates overwhelming heat with every breath. Flames coil around its body like living serpents, and the mere act of standing in its presence causes the surrounding stone to crack and melt. This wasn't a battle for ordinary adventurers. Standing among the raid were 8 of the world's highest-ranked players, each famous enough to command armies on their own. Behind them stood over 200 elite members of the Silver Knight Guild, one of the strongest organizations on the continent. Leading the charge was the 16th-ranked player on the unified rankings, Peak Sword. A swordsman renowned for defeating countless dungeon bosses and whose skill had become legendary in its own right. With so many powerful individuals gathered together, everyone naturally assumed victory was only a matter of time. Hidden among the massive raid party was a lone man wearing plain equipment that drew almost no attention. None of them realized they were standing beside the legendary blacksmith from the tavern stories. Unlike everyone else, he wasn't gripping a weapon. He wasn't studying the boss. He wasn't even preparing for battle. Instead, he quietly walked toward the left side of the arena, stopped beside a section of the cavern wall, and pulled out a mining pick. Several nearby adventurers stared at him in confusion. What is he doing? The timing couldn't have been worse. The floor boss had only just appeared, and everyone expected the mysterious man to help fight so he could claim a share of the valuable loot that would drop after Helgao's defeat. Instead, clang. He calmly began mining the wall. No hesitation. No concern for the battle unfolding around him. To everyone watching, it looked as though he'd completely lost his mind. But there was a reason for his actions. The dungeon operated under strange game-like rules known only to a handful of experts. Every time a floor boss manifested, rare ores and crafting materials hidden within the surrounding walls would instantly regenerate. These resources were often far rarer, and to a master blacksmith, far more valuable than anything the boss itself could drop. While the raid focused on slaying Helgao, the blacksmith had already found the true treasure. Unfortunately, the boss wasn't willing to ignore him. Helgao let out a thunderous roar that shook the entire arena before turning its burning gaze toward the lone miner. Flames erupted from its body as it raised one massive claw. A torrent of hellfire exploded across the battlefield, surging directly toward the blacksmith with enough force to incinerate even seasoned adventurers. The watching raid members froze. "Move! Get out of there!" But the man didn't even bother looking up from the wall. The inferno crashed into him and vanished, not weakened, not blocked, simply negated. The flames wrapped around his armor for a brief moment before dissolving into nothing, as though they had never existed. His mining never stopped. Clang. Another strike of the pickaxe echoed through the stunned chamber. Silence fell over the battlefield. Everyone stared in disbelief. The unbearable heat radiating from Hell Gao had already forced countless elite adventurers to activate defensive skills just to remain standing. Even the 8 top-ranked players were visibly struggling against the oppressive temperature. Over 200 members of the Silver Knight Guild could barely maintain their formation under the constant waves of scorching heat. Even Peak Sword, the 16th-ranked player on the unified rankings and one of the strongest combatants alive, was forced to continuously reinforce himself with aura simply to withstand the environment. Yet this unknown miner stood directly beside the boss itself, completely unaffected. The answer lay in the armor he wore. It wasn't ordinary equipment. Every piece had been personally forged and enchanted by his own hands, granting it extraordinary resistance against extreme temperatures and nullifying even the devastating flames of Hell Gao. While the greatest warriors in the world fought desperately just to survive the heat, the legendary blacksmith calmly continued mining, treating one of the dungeon's most feared bosses as little more than an inconvenience.